I've been playing Metal Eden, and it was going to come out this month, but it didn't.
Oh.
So I played the demo. But Metal Eden is one of those games where I think literally every member of the team was like, Peter, you should play this. It looks like a Peter game. And a Peter game is apparently a fast-paced shooter with verticality, mobility, and Quake arena combat.
I've always said it.
And that is
Tell me that's
absolutely
not a
my
Peter
jam.
game.
That is absolutely my
Yeah.
jam. The trailer was enough to get me across the line, and I played the demo, which is the whole prologue and first level. While this is just a demo, because the game was due to come out very soon, it does feel very refined. So it's a little bit Quake in its game design. There's pickups around the map, and it forces you into little arenas for combat. It's very Crisis in its style of the character models and kind of the world that you find yourself in. And it takes a lot of inspiration from the new Doom games in terms of the pace of the combat and it asking you to be engaged in like face-to-face encounters, melee encounters. So it is a shooter with urgency at its core, and you can combine the gunplay with melee, and in this game there's a special core in inverted commas abilities that tackle you kind of between those three things you're tackling basically the puzzle of the arena that you're combating in. So different shields and different types of enemies, and you're kind of like bullet hell moving around the map to approach the encounter in kind of a puzzle style way. The weapon and character upgrades are balanced with increasingly difficult encounters that make the entire opening of the game feel really balanced as you kind of contend with your limited ammo and your cooldowns on your specials. So far, though, it is not a particularly interesting narrative. It feels kind of like the first version of this game where I want Halo cutscenes and a bigger story to wrap this around. It's really like falling on the sci-fi tropes of a wall of exposition as text at the start of the game, and then there's a voice in your head. There's really beautiful looking cutscenes, but they all feel like engine tech demos as opposed to anything with its own unique aesthetic or style or tone. It all just feels very generic science fiction. I just kind of want to see this character, despite the fact that it is a human consciousness uploaded into a droid, is what you're playing as. There's no character or emotion because of that, and so it just feels even more removed. And I do think that there is potentially a reason for the push of the launch is because the people that are going to play this game are the people that like the new Doom, and the new Doom is about to come out, so why would you spend money on not Doom? And so I think they might be trying to put a bit of space, because it does feel like science fiction Doom, now that the next Doom is going to be medieval combat. So that's probably what's going on here, because it does feel great, but it does not feel like anything you haven't played before, and it doesn't have id Software behind it, so it doesn't really have a full AAA feel. It's got like a high AA feel.
It gives me was it Ghost Runner?
Totally Ghost Runner vibes,
yeah.
And it's very Ghost Runner in, you can see there's a spot to wall run there.
Yep.
In it, asking you to be mobile, quick, keep moving around the map. You've got this long cooldown on the core ability, and that's really vital in the combat, because you can see when they go red, you can just insta-kill a low-powered enemy, and you can absorb that. You can throw it as like a grenade, you can absorb it, and then do a really strong melee to break shields. So there's a dance, and again, that's why it kind of feels like a puzzle, because you're going to get put in a room and there's multiple waves, and so you're kind of feeling out how it works. And taking a lot of damage. You can get health back in a Doom way by being aggressive and getting up and meleeing, and that can cause the drop of health. But in the Quake style, there's cooldowns on map spawn pads as well. So there's armor that will spawn every 60 seconds, and health kits that will spawn on timers as well. So you learn the little arena, and then you move on to the next one. And that's mostly by wall running and being quite agile. It's a cool package. And and I'm interested in seeing where it goes because it all is in this city. It does go outside, and you're kind of on literally on rails, but through like a mega skyscraper city. That was at least more interesting than being in science fiction blue-doored corridors. Yep. But I hope it goes somewhere interesting with its just with its aesthetic and tone. Yep. Because while the game feels great, it's really hard to recommend buying this when Doom is about to come out.
I'm so glad
so
they
awkward.
I'm so glad they are doing something about that in terms of delaying it, because it would be it's smarter than just going, come on, we think on the merits of this game. Like, and you're right, it is just what we're seeing here is so similar, probably closer to Doom 2016 or whatever it was, the first remake, which was a lot more space station. But you're right, it's that puzzle shooter thing, which is what they're advertising in the latest Doom as well. It is that it's a puzzle, and it is color, and like it's almost like switching off your vision and just playing like just looking for certain colors and button prompts, almost forgetting you're playing a shooter, which is really fun. But it is different in the sense of like your Halos or your more traditional kind of shooters. And
I mean, speaking of shooter, how does the shooting feel? Because it looks like it is very melee heavy, but does it feel nice to use that damn gun?
Is it clunky?
McClunky. No, it is. It feels great. I mean, I like mouse and keyboard shooters. I like a twitchy shooter. This isn't actually my gameplay because my recording failed. But you are limited in your ammo. On the Magnum is really powerful, but you have to find ammo drops, and you have a gun that has a cooldown that overheats, and that's like an SMG kind of thing, and that's quite strong. You can invest. I think they call them ashes, but a currency in upgrading weapons. So if you like a weapon, you can make it more effective.
Yep.
For the overheating gun, it'll overheat slower, or it'll cool down quicker, or it'll do more damage as the last upgrade. But for the Magnum, there's a secondary ability, and there's 2 tracks for that secondary ability. And so the one that I've gone down is I can hold secondary, and it charges a really like railgun shot, which is sick.
I was talking about that's nice. And you're like, it's sick.
It's very cool. There's a bunch of just very cool stuff in it.
Yeah.
And so like I genuinely think it's great fun, and I'm interested in playing the main game. It's just like it is awkwardly positioned in the market, which is a boring thing to say about a video game. But I think if they can find some space after Doom, that they might really, we might be playing Metal Eden 3 and 4. You know, like it does feel great, and it's got some great ideas in it, and it does feel like the upgrade system is enough, and the pacing of all that in just playing the prologue and first level, it feels really polished. I'm excited to play more of it. But we can't until Q3.
Is the aesthetic, because, looking at the design of it all here, unfortunately, these days there is just so much out there that is this kind of stylish, semi-neon grey sci-fi. Is there anything in the aesthetic, maybe the enemy types, that do feel like there's a bit of a uniqueness to it or something that felt stand out? Because nothing's really jumping out at me outside of...
nothing.
Okay.
There's like... I haven't encountered an enemy where I'm like, ooh, I've fought this kind of thing before. Yeah. And the because the game is happening so fast, if you stand still for 4 seconds, you will die.
Yeah.
So you are just moving, and that is the joy and the core design of this game is like, let's just keep them moving.
Yeah.
You won't think about the enemies being uninteresting.
Or the environments. Boss, how long should I spend on this? Not long. We're going to run through it in 5 minutes.
And I should stress that I don't mean uninteresting from a game design perspective, because it is interesting. I like this type of game. But it is just like, there's nothing about the turtle shell robot that I go, wow.
Yeah.
I think it's
we're going to be buying that figurine.
Well, I might. I think it's everything you say, though. It's all about just seeing shapes and instantly knowing what that's going to do.
Maybe over-designing it becomes a bit of a hindrance to how you want to play this. So
totally, because you need to be able to quickly pass the information on screen.
Totally.
I have trouble playing games like Fortnite because I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on screen.
Yes.
I visually cannot make sense of what's happening. Whereas this game, I don't have that problem.
I'm a little worried with the new Doom that comes out next week. I've seen how visually just there's so much there to take in. I'm sure they will have streamlined it, but you definitely have to sacrifice some of that distraction to go, you need to be able to see
Pass
what you're
straight
focusing
away,
on.
yeah.
Otherwise, it is just blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah. And there's like a tease of some unique ideas in the early part of this game that I hope continue throughout. Because if they do, it may be a brilliant game.
Yeah.
At the moment, I think it's really good.